Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for today's TrialSmith webinar on expert investigations using plaintiff-only databases. You may submit questions over the web throughout the program by typing them into the Q&A pod, and the presenter will address them at the end of the program. If you have any support issues, you may send them through the Q&A pod for immediate support. I will now turn the call over to our presenter, Kent Hughes. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Aubrey. Good afternoon. I'm Kent Hughes, President and CEO of TrialSmith. When we started TrialSmith, it has its roots back to 1996, and Texas Trial Lawyers Association was trying to figure out what they were going to do on the web. And we started doing focus groups with plaintiff attorneys, and the number one thing attorneys said they wanted to do was share deposition transcripts of experts. And since 1996, we have nearly 600,000 expert transcripts that are all online and searchable. We have millions of other documents that attorneys have sent in and other types of items on experts. And today, what we're going to do is talk about how you can just run a single search to run a nationwide discovery, basically, of everything you can find about an expert from all of our plaintiff-only databases. And in a recent survey that we did of about 600 plaintiff attorneys that participated, they rated TrialSmith and the trial lawyer list servers as the number one place to get information on experts. So we're going to look at both of those tools today. And during the seminar, if you have any questions, just be sure to put those into the pod, like Aubrey said, and we'll try to address those at the end of the session today. Starting out, what I'm going to show you today, you can actually do at your Trial Lawyer Association site. So, for instance, if you were at New York State Trial Lawyers Association, you could run a search and it will give you the same results as it would at Consumer Attorneys of California. This database is national in scope. We have about 68 trial lawyer associations and litigation groups that participate in this national database, which is plaintiff only. So let's just start out and run a search. One way you can do that is use this handy little search box at the top of the website. Most websites have a search box near the top. You just need to find the box and you can type in an expert name or a list of words that you're looking for and start your search. We're going to go ahead and start off by running an expert, Michael Radetsky. Now, what I want to point out, when you run this search, it is national in scope. So you can see here on the left-hand side of your screen, it's scanning a lot of different databases. So we've got depositions, related testimony, expert challenges, briefs and motions, disciplinary actions, AAJ litigation packets, list server messages, similar searches, which are basically similar type queries that other lawyers in our network have run on the same terms. And we also link out to state and federal case law. So once you run that search, you just simply click on a folder to view the matching results. So in Michael Radetsky, we found 673 transcripts, and you'll see they're listed here on the screen. And all you have to do to look at one of these transcripts is just click on the name of the expert, and the transcript opens up in our document viewer. Now this viewer will actually work on an iPad or any mobile device, so you can easily open the transcript and start perusing it. And this is a brand new tool. One of the things we've added recently is you can now search within the transcript. So if you're looking for specific words or terms that were mentioned, you can find those and jump directly to those in these electronic documents. It's actually very fast and easy to jump around and navigate within these transcripts. Now, one thing I want to point out, most of us that would be a kind of a problem if you had to read 500 transcripts on one expert. And we're going to talk about narrowing down that list. But when you're viewing documents, one of the things that's really nice is you can now skip between documents. So if, let's say you have a number of transcripts you're reviewing, up at the top you can just click Next Document, and it'll just go immediately to the next document that you found in your search. That saves a lot of time, so you can just quickly peruse the different items that are found. And I can click Next Document and again jump to another document, and I can rerun my search terms if I like. The other thing that's nice about this new document viewer is if you want, you can go full screen with it. I like to do this on an iPad, and you just click this little button over here. It opens up the transcript. You've got your search terms. And as you're perusing these documents, as I mentioned, you notice at the top you can still jump between the documents, jump to search terms, or for instance, load the next document up in your search results. So that's the real quick and easy on how you view the transcripts, but let's look at some of the other tools here that you can get to. So I'm going to go back to my search list. Just click this little red button here, back to list. I go right back to the items that I found. We're going to go down these list of databases that we found matches in, all with our single search. The next thing we're going to look at here is expert challenges. So we have about 300,000 documented cases where experts have been challenged under Daubert, Kumho, or Frye. And all you have to do is click the particular document, and again, you can open it up. And in many cases, the disposition of the case is actually written out and defined here, so you can quickly see exactly what happened about that specific challenge. Another thing that's brand new to our system, when we did our recent survey of attorneys, they wanted a really fast and comprehensive way to run a full challenge study on an expert, and something that's really comprehensive. And you'll see this on all of our search screen, this new expert challenge study. And this is dirt cheap. It's a $99 report. And if you click it, you can view a sample of the report here. But essentially, we have a legal team that goes out and they run searches in numerous databases. And then they summarize basically all of the challenges, the outcomes, and they give you all the backup detail on all those cases. So this new study is really popular. It's quick and easy, and it's 99 bucks. So that's something you might want to check out if you have a list of experts. That's the expert challenge study. The other thing is we have this expert comprehensive report. It includes the challenge study, but it's actually more comprehensive. This report has a full background report on the expert, article history. It's got a lot of information: education, board memberships, awards and honors, intellectual property. You can go on down the list here. It's got a lot of information, and again, it's in a nice comprehensive PDF report. So those are two items you may want to check out for some of your cases. Going back over to the left, briefs and motions. A lot of people submit documents other than depositions, and so if we just pick one of these associations in our network here, let's just pick Tennessee, for example. They have 3 documents. You can drill in and see other types of documents that have been submitted on Michael Radetsky, and you can click and view those transcripts as well. Now, listserv messages is a huge resource, and people refer to the listserv as like the trial lawyer's brain or your online legal firm. You have to be a member of a list in order to search the messages. So when I click this link here, there are 129 messages on lists that I belong to. What's nice is, and this works whether you're in California, New York, or whatever state you're in, the single search pulls in all my list messages nationwide from any plaintiff list server that I belong to. So for instance, I can go down and read, here's a question, VTLA list serve, this is Virginia. Someone's asking if anyone has information available. Here's somebody on MedNeg posting a comment. So you can basically flip through and just click the subject line and then view the response to those messages. It's really handy. And in addition, I want to point out something. When you're running these searches, the data is paginated. So within each database, for instance, in list messages, you've got 13 pages here. So be sure to note that you've sometimes have to page through the various list of responses that are available. Same thing if you're looking at deposition testimony. Now, similar searches is a database that attorneys love, and the reason is it tells you who else in our national network has also run a search on Michael Radetsky. And it looks like Yvette, Brielle, Stephen, and Frank must be participating with us on the webinar today, and they are simultaneously running these searches here in California, Wisconsin, Virginia, and Arizona. And what this does is it helps you connect with other attorneys who may have already faced this expert. They may have already built a book on the expert. It's really a great way to find out which plaintiff lawyers probably know information about this expert. So you can see Brian McKean here in Detroit, Michigan. He's done a lot of research on this expert, and he's probably built a pretty good file on it. You can easily just click the lawyer's name to send an email or dial their phone number, which we provide on screen. So this is a great networking tool. And we hear lawyers tell us stories that sometimes they find out that one of their colleagues in the same building or down the street is dealing with the same expert the same time in 2 different cases. So be sure to use this little tool to connect you with attorneys who have additional information. And finally, we're going to click here on this state and federal case law. Now, this is all part of TrialSmith's database, and I'm going to click Connect to Fastcase. And when I do that, it goes out and runs a search. I'm going to click by relevancy. It runs a search on all state and federal cases where your expert or your search terms, whatever those are found. And this is all part of the TrialSmith system. There's no additional fee to access these cases. In fact, you can print them, and you can even run your own searches through this system. This is part of Fastcase, and we have that integrated directly with TrialSmith. So again, a single search, and we pull all of this into one result. Pretty powerful. Now let's go back to this deposition testimony here, because I don't have time to read 673 depositions. Now, we do have a lot of attorneys who want to get their hands on everything they can. But one way you can filter this is when you're looking at items in a database, up at the top again, I'm going to keep referring to this bar, we could run a new search, or we could say refine search. And what I recommend when you run an expert search is always start out just with the expert's name. That way you cast the widest net possible. And I'm going to go ahead and click refine search to give you an example of this. So for instance, right now we're just looking for the terms Michael Radetsky. But if you want to, you can run this search a lot smarter if you go ahead and type in the expert's name. And that gives our search engine some better clues about the fact that you're actually looking for an expert. So I'm going to just run the search again, but filling in expert first and last name. So this time the search results come back, and this time it's a little bit different. One of the differences is related testimony. And I want to talk about this a little bit. Related testimony are deposition transcripts or trial testimony where the expert is mentioned in the transcript, but he or she is not the witness. So for instance, if we pull up this one expert that we have here, and this is deposition of Dr. Edwards Brown, and I could just type in the word Radetsky and quickly jump and see where this doctor was mentioned. One of the little tips I have for you here, we had a great story a couple of years ago where an attorney in Dallas was running a search of the defendant doctor. Just thought they'd run that name through the database because this is full text. They found a surgical nurse's deposition transcript where the surgeon performed these long surgeries, but halfway through, he would go get a few smokes and a few cocktails next door, come back to work on the patient. He also did obnoxious things with the patients while they were under, and they settled that case the very next day with that transcript. So Again, it's easy to run a keyword search, and you never know what you might find when you run that search in this big database. So that the related testimony is again is just a great way. Sometimes you don't have an exact match on the expert, but you can find where other experts have reviewed that expert's findings. So going back to the list messages, I want to give you some little tips about searching the list. I'm going to click list messages, and I'm going to click new search. One of the things I want to point out is when you're running a search on the system, again, you can start out just with an expert's name. And let's look up an old expert here, Martin Barish. I'm going to click search. And just with the expert name, looking at list message, it found 196 matches. And I could start looking at those messages, and you can flip through and see what attorneys have had to say about that expert. But one of the things I'm doing in my research is sometimes I'm just looking for documents that have been contributed on the listserv. And see this little paperclip here? That's kind of a clue that list message has documents attached. So I'm going to come up and refine my search again. And when I'm looking at listserv archives, this little tool comes in really handy. If I want to look for all the free documents that have been posted to the list, I can just say only show messages with attachments. So I can run that same expert of that same search of that expert, excuse me. And this time it has documents, and I've got looks like I've got 2 transcripts here. This looks like it might be a really good one. And for me, if I'm looking for documents, this is one way I can quickly narrow that down. I'm going to go up and click Refine Search again on these archives. I could add other keywords in here in addition to this if I wanted to. That would further narrow down all the matching documents that I found. But again, I just want to warn you, when you start your search, if you enter every one of these fields, you're probably going to be very limited in the results you get back. So start out just with the expert's name and see how many potential items there are in the database before you then start to narrow the list down further. The other thing you can do that I find handy, sometimes I remember an attorney who has posted something about a specific expert. Like I really remember when Sally Smith posted something about Martin Barish. You can come in and do something like this where you can put the attorney's name in that's discussed that expert and only look at those specific messages as well. It's another handy tool. You've also got a date range tool that you can search the archived messages. One other tip about list messages. Some people are reluctant to get on the list, or one of the things we hear is, I don't want to be on the list because I get so much email. Well, you don't really have to get any email when you're on the list. One of the things you can do, and this is available at your association website, or it's available at TrialSmith. And by the way, your login for your state trial lawyer association or your local trial lawyer association works at both trialsmith.com and your association. So your login works at both websites. But one of the things you can do, for instance, is you can browse your list online. This is one thing that I find helpful if I want to peruse something on my own schedule. So for instance, I can come in, and I happen to be in New Jersey today at the New Jersey Justice Association Boardwalk Seminar. They have a couple of thousand attorneys that attend this program each year. And what you can do is come in and pick a specific list and look at the message, click the message subject line, and look at the message at the bottom of the screen. So real time, I can see what's going on the list just by coming to the website and browsing the messages real time. But one of the things I like to do is click this option called Threaded. And when I do that, it takes all the results. It looks like I've got some sort of little error or data issue going on here with some messages. But the point of this is when the message has been posted, you've got the original message posted, like here's one with Geico, no pay. And if I want, I can click that subject line and read that message. and then I can look at all the responses to that message. They're all organized in one place. If I'm not interested, I can just keep scrolling up and get down to the next listserv discussion that I'm really interested in focusing on. So about 50% of attorneys do this, what I'm showing you. They spend a lot of their time just reviewing these messages in the database. And if you go to your list settings or at your website, there should be a link that says change my settings. We'll look at those really quick. All you have to do is put yourself onto vacation mode. So you just come in, change yourself to vacation mode. And what that does is for each email address you have registered for instance, this user here is registered on a lot of different lists, this will turn off your mail on the list. You can still search, and you can, which is really key to me. You want to be able to get access to all that prior history, but you won't get any mail. This is also great in trial if you want to come in and just shut off the email while you're going to be in trial and then flip it back on, or even if you're on a real vacation. One little warning, if you change it to unsubscribe, some people get in a hurry and they're like, I just want to get off of this. Take me off. Well, the problem with unsubscribe is it's going to delete you from the list, which means you cannot search the list anymore. So my recommendation is don't unsubscribe unless you don't want anything to do with it and you never want to search it again. If you unsubscribe, you'll have to call the association to rejoin the list. So most attorneys that I see use this vacation mode. Normal means you receive messages as they are sent in real time. And when you're done, just go to the bottom of the screen and click Save Settings. So we're going to run one more search. This time we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to run our friend Michael Radetsky again. But this time we're going to also say where he's mentioned the word fetal monitor. Now I talked about how you can narrow it down with keywords. This is one way. This time we only found 28 transcripts. And if I look at that first transcript that we found, I could even come in and type in fetal monitor and jump directly to to those terms within the document. And then I can flip through and read those specific areas where those items were mentioned. So I'm going to go back to my list, but that's how you can use keywords to narrow this down, particularly when you have a lot of matches. But you see, though, even though I narrowed it down, I still found matches where he's not the witness, yet, fetal monitor is mentioned in the transcript along with that expert's name. There's an expert challenge where fetal monitor. There's a litigation packet from American Association for Justice. And there's other people who have also ran that search in the system. So using the full text search capabilities, you can really drill in and narrow down the list of possible matches. Just looking at the search menu here, one other thing I want to point out. When you go to search, you can look directly for expert depositions. You can go to list servers, case law. But wherever you go, all searches end up in the same place. And what I mean with that is if I'm looking at deposition testimony and I hit refine my search, every time I make a change here, we're going to research all of these databases for you. So it doesn't really matter where you start. But if you click on a specific folder like expert challenges, you'll notice that these search capabilities change in different places, like listserv messages has different search fields. So we intelligently pass your terms between the databases, but when you hit new search, you can target your search to these specific databases. Sometimes you can get some better results if you do that. So I want to show you real quickly in New York State trial lawyers, if we were to come in and run this same search for Michael Radetsky at their website, and they're part of our national network, you'll notice it looks very much the same. You'll have to log in to view the documents on any of the sites, but you can go and at least get a preview count of what's available. One of the advantages you get to searching at your state or local trial lawyer association is many of them have their own document databases that are private. So actually in New York, there is a transcript database, there's a notice of claims, and there's other databases and website documents that might match. In this particular case, there are 568 listserv messages, but you'll see here that these results are very much the same as at TrialSmith. And if we were to log in, we would get the same results. The same thing in California. If you ran the search of Michael Radetsky here, you'd get a similar type result. So searching from your state association gives you the advantage of all of their private document databases that they have only for their members. So you can run these searches in both places. You've got the same search bar up here, and if we're to log in, we'll find the same results. Now, one of the things that comes up is, how do I get into this? How do I start searching? First of all, if you're new to your association site, note there's always going to be a forgot password link. Here at Consumer Attorneys of California, it's up here at the top. If I click that, I'll get to this screen, and all you have to do is enter the email address that you have registered with the association. New York State trial lawyers, it's the same way. If I click members only, for instance, to get in, it's going to prompt me for a username and password. Just click the I forgot my username and password if you don't know it, enter your email address, and this process will send you an email, and then you can pick your own username and password to log into your association site. And again, that password also works at trialsmith.com. So once you get your password for your association, you can also log in at trialsmith.com, and it will work here as well. So at this time, we're going to see if we have any questions from the audience. I'm going to ask Aubrey. I'm working remote. I'm remote today in New Jersey, so I can't actually see the questions coming in. So Aubrey, if you have any questions at this time, I'll be happy to take some of those.
Yeah, we have a few questions that come in. So let's start with, what is the cost to get access?
So the trials, basically the listservs are free to your association. And that, to me, that's the first place you want to look is the listserv when you're looking for experts, especially local experts. The TrialSmith, the depositions, you can actually search and purchase those separately. You see there's a purchase price for those. So you do not have to subscribe to TrialSmith to get access to depositions. You can just buy them a la carte. But for about $400 a year, you can actually have all of these databases that are part of TrialSmith included, including state and federal case law. That's for $400 a year. So you get the whole gamut. And the other advantage of when you become a subscriber to TrialSmith, when you view the transcripts, you can read the entire transcripts online. So there's basically, when you open the transcript, you can flip through or scroll through the pages and read the entire transcript without having to purchase it first. So that's the other key advantage of being a TrialSmith user. But if you prefer, you can just search a la carte. The listserv is free to search. You have to be a member of the list in order to search it, but you can do that by signing up through your association. The other way you can avoid ever paying for these documents, notice that these each have a price on them. When you decide you want to download a transcript, there's a fee, but all of our documents in our database were actually contributed by plaintiff attorneys. So you get a $5 credit for each transcript you send in. And that's really how we've built this. We actually have the whole process patented. And so if you send 100 transcripts into us, we're going to put a $500 credit on your account. And that credit will actually work at your state association website. It'll work at TrialSmith. Remember we said you have a unified login at all of these websites. So it knows that you have the credit. And if you go to buy a document, it'll actually use the credits that you have available instead of charging you. So that's the basic pricing system that we have.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so our next question is, which subscription plan with TrialSmith gives you all of the things you just mentioned in the webinar?
The Pro Plan subscription There's two plans. There's the Economy and Pro plan. The Pro plan subscription is the one that I'm talking about that lets you read everything in its entirety. So you pay a little bit more for the Pro plan, but you can read everything on the site. The only time you'd pay is if you chose to download a transcript uh, to your system. The Economy plan lets you look at the first 20% of any document, and then you have to pay if you want to read the rest of it. So you don't really save a lot of money. I think the Pro plan is usually what attorneys subscribe for. And the subscription is for 12 months, and there's no automatic renewal with our system. We send you a reminder just like a membership group, and you can choose to renew or not each year.
Okay, thanks. We have a couple other people asking if you could explain again how they join a listserv.
Sure. When you go to your association site, and every site's a little bit different, and this is going to be, you're kind of catching me off guard here, so now I have to figure it out myself here, but I'm at New York, and they've got their list server forums, and here I can join general list servers. So they've got a way to join. Looks like this is in a secure area. So my point is, go to your association site where you're a member, and once you get there, look at their site's navigation, and they'll have instructions on how to join the list. This particular list, for instance, has their agreement online, and I can basically fill out an application and join this particular list. This is fairly common on the listservs. You'll need to join up, and you'll need to make sure you read the agreement carefully. There are very strict rules about how to use the list, and not forwarding messages is one of the big rules that we talk about all the time. Once you join the list, you're going to go in under the resources, and they'll have a link at the website to browse the listservs, search the listservs, change your settings. And if I jump over to Consumer Attorneys of California, I have a feeling that we're going to find the same types of tools. So they have list servers, and they have all the same types of tools where you can join, browse, search. So this is going to be similar at whatever trial lawyer association you go to. I want to give you a little tip though. Once you sign up and get approved, there's a key step that you have to do. There's a key step. So when I come in to browse my list servers, you'll notice here that when you browse, there's a thing called list settings, and there's also something called email certify. So after you join the list the first time, when you come in to look at the messages, you will not see any messages and you can't search, and you'll be reminded that you need to go to certify. What email certify does is it sends you a confirmation email. It's sort of like when you sign up with Amazon.com for the first time, or other sites where they're trying to verify your identity. You'll simply enter the email address or addresses that you use on the list servers. We'll verify that you're actually that person by sending you an email link, and then you'll be good to go. That once you click the link from your email will be activated, and then you can search, browse, and post messages through the website after that's done. But you can't join by calling TrialSmith. You need to contact your local association to get on the list. One other tip about listservs. I'm here on the East Coast today, and we did a session yesterday, a seminar, and a lot of the attorneys work in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So I encourage you to join all of those associations, especially if you're doing cases with experts that are common in the area. Many of these experts move around, and many of the attorneys belong to both organizations, and they're on both listservs. That's really important because when you go to search here, and I happen to be on New York's website, but I'm logged in now. These are all the lists that I belong to, and since I do a lot of testing and presentations, I'm on actually a lot of different lists. But my point here is that even though I'm in New York, every list that I'm a member of that I've certified my email address on, I can search all of those lists in one place. So if you know your experts come from a 3-state area or 4-state area, the more listservs you're on, the more likely you're going to find a hit when you run a search on those experts. If you need help, though, if you have listserv issues or if you're having trouble getting certified, at trialsmith.com we do have an 800 number which you can call, and we will be happy to step you through that. If you're having any trouble whatsoever, we can help you with that. Just remember, join first through your association. Do we have any other questions, Aubrey?
Yeah, we did have someone who asked if you could show how you search the listserv messages sorted out by subject line.
Sure. So there's two ways to when you search the archives, it actually is done as a relevancy search. So it's not going to organize them in any way other than relevancy. So if I looked for an expert this way on list messages, it's going to basically pull all matches, but it's going to do so in relevancy order. But if I am browsing the listserv archive, and this time we'll switch over to another association. We're going to go look at Texas. So here's a list of all the current real-time messages. The thing I was showing that saves me a ton of time, I come in here and I switch to what's called threaded mode. And when I do that, it organizes the original question followed by the responses. So I can skip over things that just don't interest me really quickly. So Canadian doctor is expert in med-mal case. I can click that one and read that message, and if I want, I can look at all the responses. So that's how you do what's called threading or sorting by the subject line. You use the browse list messages, which is under listservs browse, and that's how you can get to the threaded message format. It's really handy. Like I said, in particular, nearly 50% of attorneys do this exclusively now, and it just lets you come in on your own time and quickly peruse these rather than just having a big jumble of messages. There are other ways to do this, by the way, in your email client. It depends on your email software that you use, but there's also ways to do that within your email software solution. You can get help from your in-house tech person on how to do that if you'd like. Okay, next question, please.
So our next question, they asked if you could clarify the account credit. Could you repeat how much that is per deposition? And is that credit only towards future purchases of other depositions, or does it also go towards our membership fee?
Okay, so just so you know, at trialsmith.com, there's a number of different links within our search engine on how to contribute documents. There's a link here at the bottom of every page about uploading transcripts. Under search, you can also contribute your documents. So that's a good question. Basically, you can get a $5 credit that can be used on any document in our database. It's not used for a TrialSmith subscription. That's separate. I will send an email following the seminar with a $200 discount coupon if anybody would like to use that towards their subscription for a year. But the document credits are $5 each, and they go only to purchasing other documents in the national database. So that means any document from any trial lawyer association you can use that credit for. And there's no limit. We have some firms that have literally sent in file cabinet boxfuls of paper transcripts. One of the things we do is we scan to PDF and to searchable format all of your documents free of charge, and we give you a $5 credit. You can send files via Dropbox. These credits are earned on every deposition transcript of experts, corporate reps, doctors. any corporate rep that's testifying on behalf of a defendant, that's all part of what we'll pay a credit on. And you just send it in. We will automatically apply that credit to your account. You can also just email transcripts to us. We have a lot of firms who have their paralegals that just send deposition transcripts to us as soon as they get a digital copy. They just forward them right over to us, to depositions@trialsmith.com. And again, we'll just put that on your account. And one thing that's really cool about our system, you see here there's a search My Documents. So when I ran this search here on Radetzky earlier, I think I've got some documents that I purchased of his. And this is another question that comes up a lot. Well, are you going to charge me for my own documents? No, you never pay for your own document transcripts. Since everything is connected to your account, when I run a search of an expert, you'll notice there's a My Documents folder. So anytime you search, anything you've ever contributed or purchased will be in this My Documents folder. In addition, if you've purchased a transcript before in our system, here, for example, it says it's in the cart. But if you had already purchased it or if you had contributed it, there's no way to buy it. Literally, our system will not let you buy something from your own library. If you submitted it to us, it will show up as a $0 fee if you ever encounter that document when you're doing a search. So we take good care of those documents. We make sure we link them to the plaintiff attorney. We do have firm accounts. We have some large firms where they share all of the documents amongst multiple lawyer accounts. So that is an option if you have a large firm to set up a firm account with us. Costs a little bit more, but then all of the firm's documents are also shared through that national database. Next question, Aubrey.
Okay. Our next question is it possible to search jury verdicts?
Right now we don't have jury verdicts in our database. We've tried to collect those in the past with our own database, but lawyers tend to tell us about only the good cases and not all the cases. So there are a couple of really big publishers that do jury verdicts, and we have not been able to license that data from them. One of the things that we're adding right now, though, that helps with expert investigations is we're adding integration with Medline PubMed, so that when you run an expert search, we're going to automatically give you a list of all of that expert's medical article history, just like you see on Medline. And there'll be a folder here where you can click, and you can easily just click and order the documents as well. So look for that. That's coming out in the next 60 to 90 days. But it's going to help really streamline getting copies of those articles. One of the problems lawyers have told us is it's hard to order them or get a copy of them. We now have a partnership with a new provider that will allow us to quickly provide those articles on demand to you.
Okay, thanks.
Next question, Aubrey.
Next, can you search all the list servers nationwide on TrialSmith?
You could if you were a member of all of them. That question comes up a lot. So if I go to listserv messages, when you run your search, right here where it says all of my list, just look here and you'll see all the lists that you're searching. So here's Consumer Attorneys of Los Angeles, for instance, and their law list. When you click this drop down, this will be specific to your capabilities, so you'll see all the lists that you're a member of. Again, one of the things you want to check for, many of the associations have multiple listservs, and I find it helpful myself to make sure I'm a member of all of those lists, because when I run a search, I want to make sure I scan all of those. So you may need to join a couple of additional lists within your association, but this is where you'd check to see, is this working? So here I'm a member of Arizona, Consumer Attorneys of Los Angeles. This is kind of your guide to let you know what you're capable of searching. This is not all the lists in our system. This is only the ones that I'm a member of, basically. So, but the only way to search is if you're a member of that list? It's a good question.
Okay, thanks.
All
We have
right, do we
another
have any other questions today?
We do have one more question, and that individual asked that he heard you mention something about state and federal case law being accessible on TrialSmith, and he was asking if you could explain what you're referring to.
Sure. When you run any search on our system, you can also link out to all state and federal cases. Okay, so for instance, if I run a search on Richard Nye here, down at the bottom there's this link called State and Federal Case Law. Now it has a red link there, but if you'll just simply click that link when you're logged in, and this is for TrialSmith subscribers, members, there's a button that says Connect to Fastcase, and this is all included with your TrialSmith membership, and then you can actually click and view those cases. The Fastcase is really a great system, and we do have a lot of people who subscribe just for this benefit. It's all state and federal courts. You can run your own searches in here. There's a lot of things that are available in this database. They do have authority check. Lexis has one way of tracking experts, and West has a different one. But they do have authority check in here, but I would say it's not as good as what you might get from Lexis or West. But this is a pretty great tool, and it's included with the TrialSmith membership. Once you click on the cases, you can read them. It highlights your search terms. You can print, save, export, jump between your search terms, and you've got some really great search tools as well that you'll be very familiar with, so you can build your own searches, and you can filter on jurisdictions. You've got quite a number of tools here that are available to you. So this is part of the TrialSmith membership that's included, and it's unlimited use. So you can search and use this all you want for your TrialSmith subscription. We do have a subscription called Basic Plus, and if you want, you can subscribe to this for like 99 bucks a year if you just want case law service, by the way. Most people get the full plan, but there is a $99 option if you want unlimited state and federal case law, including all these databases for 99 bucks a year. But it's included in your TrialSmith membership. Okay, Aubrey, we've got time for one more question if you have one.
Yeah, so our last question will be just a clarification. Where do you get all of your documents?
Well, all of the documents are actually from attorneys. So everything we have in our database was emailed or submitted to us by plaintiff attorneys. One thing about that, one thing that comes up, it's a little secondary question is, are these depositions copyrighted? They're not. There's a lot of research that's been done on this. Depositions are not copyrighted by the court reporter. So, if you have a transcript, you can share it with our private database. We only keep the documents for plaintiff attorneys. So we do have a vetting process. This is larger than any other deposition database we know of in North America, and it is exclusive to the plaintiff bar. So we encourage you to send your stuff in. As far as we know from all of our legal research, there is no reason why you can't send us those transcripts. They're part of a public record, but we're not a public website. So just so you know, anything you send to us is governed by a board of plaintiff attorneys who make sure those documents are protected. So that's. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you have any other questions, or if you go to trialsmith.com, there is a Join Us option up in the top right-hand corner where you can learn about the different subscriptions plans. We had a lot of questions on that. I'll just show you now. It tells me what my current plan is. But if I were to log out here and click Join, all you have to do is pick which participating association that you're a member of. Once you pick that association and click View Plans, it'll give you the different subscription options. I'm going to send you a discount for the Pro plan today where you can save $200 off of that. That'll make that about $400 a year. But you can see you've got the Basic Plus plan is basically case law only. And then if you want economy, you get a 25% preview. The Pro plan, which is what most attorneys do, it just gives you at full 100% access to everything. The only time you would pay anything else is if you were to download a copy of a transcript to your computer and you didn't have any purchase credits on file. So that's how you join, and you can. We have our 800 number on the homepage of our website, and it's free to search. We're not logged in right now, but if you want to just come, sometimes you may not have a case right now, but if you want to run a free search, you can come and do that. And it'll give you a quick breakdown of just what's available and let you peek behind the covers a little bit to see what you might find if you get logged in. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll be sending you a follow-up email here in the next couple of days. If you'd like to join TrialSmith, there will be information in there about that. We hope to see you online, and please send us your deposition transcripts to depositions@trialsmith.com or under the search button here, contribute documents. We'll take them by Dropbox, Paperbox, any way you want to send them to us. We'll be happy to take them and put them on file under your firm account. Have a great day. See you online.